can a team grow from that, those kind of experiences, facing adversity like that in the postseason?
Well, I think you learn from each experience, but one series has really nothing to do with the next. And so just understand what it's going to take to win the next game. And that's where we try to keep our focus. But I think you learn from each game. There's always things that you do well. There's things that you don't do as well as you would like. You can try to improve upon your performance each game.
Hey, Tom, you mentioned a couple times after the game just the emotional highs and lows of the postseason and the importance of kind of resetting in the aftermath of these games. I was just wondering, what's that process like for you? I mean, do you experience those same emotional highs and lows over the course of a game like Mondays, and how do you reset yourself?
Yeah, I think that, and that's the challenge for everybody. I think the playoffs, that's sort of the nature of the beast. It's very emotional. There's, great highs, there's lows. You have to navigate both. And no matter what happens, you don't carry it over into the next game. You have to reset and be ready to do it all over again. So, and that's the challenge that every team has in this league. So I think if you look at what it takes to win, you understand how important that is.
Hey, Tom. You guys obviously got Mitch back pretty late in the season, and then Boston ends up, trying to foul to get him off the floor. Just can you talk about his impact? He was plus 13, no points, but it was clear that he had a big impact in the game last night.
Yeah, I think just the strengths that he brings to the team, the rebounding aspect of it, the rim protection, the ability to switch. His size is very important for us. And so that's what we're trying to take advantage of. And I'm sure, he's been fouled before, and he's got to just step up there and make.
Hey, Tom. I know you say you don't want every series is a new one and things don't carry over, but are there things that you want to carry over, like the experience you get from pulling out close victories and the confidence you get from that, and playing so many minutes in the regular season, the kind of the muscle memory that your body gets from that, because naturally you're going to want to play more in the playoffs? Are those things that can help your team out?
Yeah, I think, you try to take advantage of everything, and and we start in training camp. You guys think it's cliche, but we don't. You're building habits the whole season. And so what are you going to need in the end? And you try to build those habits over the course of the season. And then when you get to the playoffs, it's already ingrained. And so I think each game is different. I think it's important not to, get wrapped up in, what people say, what, social media, this series is this, or this is what happened in the regular season. This, that's none of that's important in terms of preparing yourself to win that next game. If you get lost in all that other stuff, you're not going to be focused on the stuff that's really important to win the next game, and that's really what you have to do. So we try to build those habits each and every day, and sometimes we fall short, and then we try to correct it and do better the next time, and that's where our focus lies.
Hey, Tom, you guys switched more last night than you guys did during the regular season. And with that, obviously, comes a level of pride in defending one-on-one. What did you take away from in the moment watching the game and then watching the film about how your guys rose to that challenge and wanting to compete on that end?
Yeah, well, I think, part of it is, there's several different coverages in every game. So you have switching partners. You have some guys that you're going to be in a certain type of coverage with. You have other guys that you're going to blitz with. So and you have to be adept in all those things. And so anytime you put two on the ball, you'll be vulnerable in a certain area. You got to know how to cover up for that. Anytime you're switching, you could be vulnerable in certain areas, and you got to cover up for that. So you got to understand, you got to become good at all those things because the personnel of each team is different. And so When you look at what a guy like Tatum brings or Brown brings, and then you look at what Derek White brings and what Holiday brings, you got to do different things. And then when you look at 5-out spacing and the ability for them to shoot threes, but not only shoot threes, but to get to the offensive boards and then kick out and create more threes. So, it's a challenge, and you have to do it time after time.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Just following up on James, like especially with Cat, he was switching a lot more than he normally does on a regular night. I'm curious throughout the course of the regular season, like you always talk about how the regular season you're building up habits. Obviously, in the playoffs, you're going to have to make personnel related adjustments. In like a random practice in January, are you going to drill things that you might not use in a January game, but that you think you might use in a situation like a second round series against the Celtics, or does that not happen until?
Well, I think your preparation in the off season, you prepare for everything. Like, okay, they're going to be pick and pop bigs. Okay, what are we going to do in those situations? And then there's going to be great player defenses. So what are you doing in those situations? And then they're going to have 4 or 5 pick and rolls. And what are you doing in those situations? So I think over the course of the season, you go into the season with a plan and you say, okay, what are we going to need at the end? And, sometimes you're not doing it as well as you would like. And I think that's the challenge over the course of the season because of the amount of games that you're playing is how do you get that stuff in? You have to prioritize the things that you're going to work on each and every day. And sometimes you may be working on pick and roll defense and you shore that up, and then you plug the hole in catch and shoot defense. So now the focus shifts to that, or maybe it's defensive transition, or maybe it's offensive execution. Whatever, that's the way you have to approach it. You try to maximize your time, and I think sometimes you're trying to get it done in your shoot arounds or your walkthroughs or ballroom meetings or film sessions, but you have to be good at all those things, and you're trying to build the right habits over the course of the season.
Last question.
Hey, Tom, you hit on it a little bit after the game, but Miles McBride, I think 5 for 19, maybe in the Detroit series from 3, and then he comes in and gives you guys a lot early in that Boston series. What do you know about Miles that kind of allows him to go in and perform in that Boston spot after, the results in the Detroit series?
Yeah, I think, he's got a great routine that he sticks to. So I think all players go through different stretches where, sometimes maybe they're not making shots, but he can help us a lot of different ways: ball pressure, hustle, pace of the game. So shift to that. And then oftentimes what comes from that is you get a couple of easy baskets, then you get back into rhythm. But we have a lot of confidence in his ability. And then he's going to also have the stretches where he goes on runs where he doesn't miss any shots. So we believe in the habits that he's created and the way he works and his competitive nature.